I am utterly shell-shocked. I really am. A movie that is good.
Yeah.
And it stars Keanu Reeves.
We had no expectations.
No, like John Wick. Just by the title alone, you didn't think that this was going to be, like, at best, you could expect a bearable movie.
Yeah.
At best, you could say, well, it had its moments.
Fuck the Equalizer. Fuck the Equalizer.
After John Wick, yes, fuck the Equalizer.
This was the ultimate dad movie. If you could even call it a dad movie.
I don't think you can call it.
Yeah.
I don't think you can call it a dad movie.
Yeah, Keanu was pretty fit. Did his own, I think it was mostly his own stunts.
I wouldn't say.
I know, there's a reason they had his hair down his face the whole time, but you know.
Yeah,
He's done enough fighting movies by now, he should be able to do some of them, shouldn't
he? Yeah, a good number of his stunts were probably done by him. Like, you look at this movie, John Wick, and you're thinking, one, that's a dad movie because it's an aging gracefully actor, doing in an action role. So you're expecting him, okay, so he's going to be the ultimate uber badass. And yes, the movie does treat him like, holy shit, it's John Wick! Shoot yourself before he has a chance to make you suffer!
Oh yeah, this guy is, it's amazing. Like, there's the guy who, oh god, it's Godzilla! Oh no, it's John Wick! It's John Wick!
I mean... and so, like, everyone's reacting to, like, Keanu Reeves as John Wick, and then everyone's, like, shitting 10 bricks. Because, like, when John Wick wants you dead, you're fucking dead. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, one, they play it for laughs a lot of the time.
So what does John Wick and the Equalizer, as characters have in common with each other? What's their attributes there?
All right, the Equalizer versus John Wick. As far as their shared attributes, it's basically they know how to kick ass. But that's the beginning and ending as far as their shared common interests go, shared commonalities. One, it's you could argue that you're not going to believe this, but Keanu Reeves showed more emotion. Keanu Reeves showed more emotion than Denzel Washington.
He did actually. Mark it.
Yeah, he did.
He did in the same genre of movie.
Ostensibly the same. It's almost the exact same plot when you really break it down to brass tacks. But this movie knew well enough that, one, you can't make a good action movie without the hero getting hurt or struggling, which was definitely a detriment to The Equalizer. I mean, it's power and fulfillment fantasy for the middle-aged crowd, but it doesn't exactly make for a good action movie. But here, John Wick gets his ass kicked, but he keeps going. It's not quite John McClane level of ass kicked, but definitely way more than any of like the Expendables movies or any more than actually any action hero to date. Like fucking Captain America doesn't get nearly beaten down as John Wick does in this movie.
No.
Or nor like any of the Marvel movies. This may be...
It was on a level with The Raid.
Yes.
Like I'm not saying this movie
was
as good as The Raid.
No. The Raid 2, not
The Raid 2, The Raid.
Like that set the benchmark, the new benchmark.
But the amount that he gets put through the cleaners is it's pretty on par with The Raid. The Raid 2 is he gets the shit knocked out of him, but only at the expense that he's taking out everyone.
Yeah, I mean, like it's at the end of the day he wins, of course, but it's not like he won't come out worse for wear. Like I think a good portion of the film he has his arm in a sling and he has a stab wound in his abdomen that people use to their advantage by just punching him in his wound and that bleeds.
Yeah, great cinematography, very very good stunts, very good action all around.
Probably, if it wasn't for The Raid 2, this would be the best action movie I've seen all year.
Yeah.
I've seen Captain America. I've seen Guardians of the Galaxy. This is so much better than both.
We've seen them. The excellent use of weaponry in this, actually.
I
actually found myself interested in the guns.
Yeah.
They had a very nice, sleek shine to them in this movie that just... I don't know what it was, but guns have never seemed more interesting.
It was because they used guns in close quarters combat.
And it was the use of reloading. Mm-hmm. A lot of times, like in the Expendables we were watching? Or something,
like they never bothered to reload. They never bothered to reload in Expendables.
There's like a particular scene in this movie that I don't know if I've quite seen it done this way before, where unloads his gun right in front of a guy. And then shoots him at point blank. Like, that's a thing.
It's like, there ain't nothing much you can do about it, so I'm just going to take my time to reload it. And then just right between the eyes.
I mean, can you... Yeah.
Yeah, like a lot of the scenes in this movie are very close quarters combat, very, like, not a lot of like punches and kicks, but grapples and arm locks. It's very UFC in that way. But it always revolves around the idea that, excuse me, sorry, but it revolves around the notion of like, disable them, then finish them off with like a bullet to the head. I mean, he like maybe once or twice he uses like an assault rifle or.
It's almost like all the guys he goes up against are vampires or something, because he has to take out the head.
Because he's smart. That's why. You always go for the kill shot.
You always go for the kill shot. John Wick goes for the kill shot.
John Wick goes for the kill shot. But beyond the fact that this was a well shot, well choreographed action movie, this is also one of the most fun movies.
Oh, I had a blast.
This was just a real fun movie.
What a relief. God, it was nice to be so surprised when I was already coming up with like ways I was going to insult this movie before it started. Like John Ick.
No,
this was
John Wicked Awesome.
John Wicked Awesome.
Pretty much. I mean, like, everyone kind of goes into like a Marvel movie expecting a fun time, and sometimes you get it. I really didn't get it. I mean, I got some of it.
I got it. I enjoyed that film.
Yeah, both of them. Yeah, Captain America.
Both of them?
Captain America.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I didn't quite agree with the hype on both of them, but...
I mean, they're fun movies, but you kind of like, you take a ticket, you're going down a ride, you're going to have fun.
Yeah.
You know what to expect. Because
everybody have fun tonight.
You get to see them, and you get to see the corners of the ride. You can see how fast it goes before you even get on. And so you're just like, yeah, it's going to be fun to experience, but, you're not left with anything other than like, well, I got what I paid for. But this was like going into some stranger's like makeshift haunted house.
Oh yeah, and just leaving with like a pound and a half lighter.
Exactly. Part of you thinks this is a bad idea going in, but then like halfway through it you realize, oh my god, this is actually great.
Yeah.
They really spent time on this. Holy shit.
And it kind of crept up on you, but very early on in the movie, but you're not really sure where it's going to go with this, because another title that could have used for this movie was A Man and His Dog.
Yeah.
Now, I don't mean because it was like a boy and his dog at all.
No, it's... On one hand, it's like cheap, emotionally manipulative crap, but on the other hand, the way the plot treats John Wick as a character, it feels almost like I said, it's like a joke.
It feels like you're John Wick for a lot of the film, actually.
Yeah, it does feel like that.
Not as much towards the end, but in the beginning, it has a little more of that dad film feel to it, because, he's walking into places and people know who he is, and they're like, oh, it is you, John Wick. Would you like a drink? Would you like is there any way that we could make things easier for you and get the hell out of your way?
Please don't kill us.
Please don't kill us.
and beyond the fact that like it's bloody and it's really brutal in some respects, but there's also a lot of fantasy elements to it too, because it's all right. The film is set around the Russian mafia, but there's like these little moments, these little touches in the film where you get this feeling that okay, they're just going for a complete fantasy angle. Like they're going for almost like a Sin City kind of angle, where not only are there like secret hotels for like hitmen to hide out in and secret clubs, but they also have their own currency, like little gold coins that they exchange for for illegal favors.
And honestly, that's something you would imagine that tight-knit societies like this would have at this level.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue that, if an organization exists, they would use their own kind of currency to help, divert attention away from like money laundering schemes and such. But on the other hand, gold coins. So you're telling me that they hired out some mint out in like Indiana to press these coins? These specific gold crypto coins.
They probably got like a whole network inside them that
makes
them foolproof.
Like they got a Russian mafia version of the Gringotts Bank in Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Like these Russian goblins are going around with these gold coins.
It's clear that this is very high-end society of criminals, underworld hitmen, and just everything all around the killing scheme of
And it's clearly
badassery.
Oh man, you would not last a day in the Russian
Yeah.
mafia. You would.
I know.
Oh man, but I keep coming back to the how fun this movie is. I mean, all right, when you think Keanu Reeves movie, you kind of know what to expect, at least on the baseline. I mean, if you see any kind of Keanu Reeves action movie, you get that Keanu Reeves even keel performance. Mm-hmm. That is to say, no keel. It's just this straight line all the way through the movie with this sort of neutral face, this protagonist neutral face that we can all get behind, like a blank slate. But this movie separates itself from pretty much every other Keanu Reeves movie by the fact that we do get those moments of quiet, stoic badassdom. But at the beginning, he was this weepy.
There's a particular scene that he actually pulls out some great acting chops and gets moist, if not teary.
He actually does shed tears.
He does.
He actually does shed tears. And this is where sort of the cheap emotional play comes into the field. Like all good dad movies, or at least by definition of a dad movie, there's very little to no female play into this whatsoever, and little, if there is any, are basically used as a sort of emotional anchor for our main protagonist rather. And for Keanu Reeves, it's his dead wife. And so it's literally 4 days after she died, and apparently she had the foresight during her sickness that we get to experience through montage to send him a little beagle dog with a little note that says, I come to terms with the fact that I'm going to die. Please, come to terms in your own way, but at least you won't have to be alone. And he cries when he sees the little puppy, and he's just holding it. And about for the first 10-15 minutes of the movie, it's just him just kind of playing around with the dog. And it's funny to see Keanu Reeves interact with this dog because it's an android learning pet behaviors. It's he lets the dog out.
Yeah.
It's wait a minute, come back in. Oh wait, you have to do that, don't you? Yeah.
Oh yeah, so the dog goes out into the yard and poops out a perfect, a iconic little
swirly. It's like a Tom
candy
Carvel
kiss. Yeah.
Like a Tom Carvel soft serve. But lo and behold, when he attracts the Russian mafia because he drives a sweet 1969 Mustang that follow him back to his house later that night and steal his car, killed the dog.
So the guy
killed the dog. Oh,
so the guy.
We'll get to him in just a bit.
He's in that scene you just mentioned.
Yeah, I know he's in the scene. He's in the scene, but
if
kills.
You wish.
Yeah. We'll get right back to him.
Well,
but
I just can't wait.
Yeah, I know. But he kills the dog, and I'm thinking in my head, I know they're going to kill that dog. There's no reason.
There's no way the dog lives.
No way the dog lives. Boomer will not live in this movie, and sure enough, he doesn't. So, and they were kind of brutal in that regard because you do hear you don't actually see them putting a pipe to or a bat as it were to something that's supposed to look like a dog.
I think he snapped its neck because he picks it up and
you hear the whimper, and then they leave the corpse of the dog right next to him after they beat him with a pipe.
Oh yeah,
and that was
they made it personal when they did that.
So it's not enough that you stole his car. You stole his car and killed his dog 4 days after he buried his wife.
Yes, the dog that his wife got him before she died, so he would have something left of her, in essence, and something to, give him a reason to keep going and to take care of, nurture, and that's gone now. So he has, but he found a new reason to exist from this
Revenge.
Yes.
And what can you ask for a? That is the perfect setup to a movie like this. That is, it's cheap. It is completely hacky by any demonstrably well written screenplay standpoint. Yes. You could see this coming a mile away, but at the same time, you realize you don't really care. It's just it happens, so it happens. You don't really find yourself angry. You just feel well, what else is going to spur him on to anger? I suppose. I mean, it'd be kind of ridiculous if he just came after him because he stole his car. I mean, if this was a straight up comedy, yeah, they would do that. But no, they had to kill the dog too because, there's emotional resonance there.
Well, normally the plot would go that they killed his wife.
But the wife,
Everything else would just be a little, extra. But killing his wife is the normal thing they would go for, and they didn't do that.
they killed his dog.
They didn't do that, and I'm glad they didn't.
Yeah, and, I mean, like, if you have to have that emotional resonant moment, they're, killing a dog while just as cheap, if not cheaper than killing the wife, at least it hasn't been done to death. Like,
It really set the pace for the movie because it showed just how badass this guy was, that, taking out his dog is enough to incur his wrath. Mm-hmm. Like, if you fucked his car up, he might...
he keyed his car, he'd probably punch
teach you
him.
a good lesson, kill maybe a good 12.5 people, but if you do this, everybody's got to go.
All of Russia goes. No
Yes.
Russian. But the moment that Gabe wanted to pick up on was the fact that one of the Russian mafioso that it has incurred the wrath of John Wick, and by the by, John Wick is...
Let's just go at it. The cast.
The cast, yeah.
The cast in this movie surprised us just as much as anything.
Yeah, because it's filled with actors besides Keanu Reeves, like Willem Dafoe is in this movie. Yeah, he's he has a presence in this movie even though he doesn't show up a lot. Willem Dafoe's in this movie. Crap, I forgot the actor's name, but Game of Thrones guy who got his dick chopped off.
That's what he's gonna always be. Just like the guy who fucked the pie. This guy is always gonna remember for the.
Yeah.
But I will always remember him because he is a great fucking actor.
Yeah, he's willing to show his man tackle on screen.
Yes, that's great acting.
Well, at least he's comfortable.
Aside from the man tackle, he is an excellent actor. From what I've seen of him in Game of Thrones, that is obvious.
No,
I mean, honestly, I thought that he was the best actor in Game of Thrones.
Oh, Greyjoy. I think that's Greyjoy.
Greyjoy is the last name.
Yeah, Greyjoy.
Something Greyjoy, but you know exactly who we're talking about.
Yeah.
Nicholas Greyjoy.
Yeah, that's of course, and it's a great man tackle too.
Mm-hmm, sure. Yeah.
I mean, like on a scale of 1 to 10, that's a meaty 9.
That just got in the way of everything, didn't it? Yeah. That's what you got out of Game of Bones. Yeah. No, he was awesome in that. I mean, to sell that role, god damn, he sold it. And he does good in this. With he doesn't have much to work with.
Well, he plays basically almost the same kind of character.
Yeah, they really typecast him in this movie.
But he does play it. Like, he plays it shamelessly, which I think is what does it. He plays basically a sniveling, almost cowardly and spoiled brat son of a Russian mafioso. Yeah. And there's this great moment where like he's partying in the nightclub and he knows John Wick is after him and he's just like, "Where's my bottle? Where's my bottle?" Like, he's drinking in the pool. Like, one of his bodyguards is saying, like, is like, "That's enough. That's enough." It's like, "I'm not scared of John Wick." "You should be." And he takes his bottle away from him. And he's like, "I want another bottle." That was.
I do hope he doesn't get completely typecast as this role, because I know that he can do other stuff if he can do this.
Yeah, of course. But, it doesn't help the fact that he does kind of have, like, that weasel face.
Yeah.
You know what it is? It's like those ice blue eyes, but that thin, gaunt face. It just feels very, like, that guy will sell
slightly Malfoy-ish in
Yeah, definitely. It's just one of that combination of hair and eyes and gaunt look. It just screams like this guy will stab you in the back for a peanut butter sandwich.
Yes.
He will sell you up the river as soon as he can. But besides those actors, I wish I could remember this actor's name. He's in those Farmers Insurance Mayhem.
It's the Allstate guy.
Oh, no, Allstate. Was it Allstate?
It's the Allstate guy.
No,
the Mayhem guy.
The Mayhem guy. It's like, "So get Allstate, and you won't have to experience me." And there's a great moment because, like, he's in a car that gets wrecked, and he's, like, dragging himself out of the wrecked car, so he literally is Mayhem in this movie. And he just...
I was upset.
Why were you upset?
Well, I mean, as upset as you can be having him in a movie, I I was always hoping that I get to see him in the business. Hopefully, we get to see more of him. I love that guy. Everybody loves that guy.
Yeah.
But I thought that there could have been more of him in this.
Yeah, but then
have
again,
him do more.
But there's a lot of this movie leaves you wanting more, which is definitely a good problem to have in the grand scheme of things.
He didn't go full mayhem in this movie, though.
No, he was basically the lackey, the second underling under the Russian mafioso.
He was very, very minion. He just.
But he did, like, he provided good comedic relief. He did provide, like, that kind of, like, he's basically an American working for the Russian mafia, so he doesn't speak Russian. Yeah. So, like, his thing is, like, would you fucking speak English? Whenever he's telling him to do something. And the guy who plays the Russian mafioso, basically the main bad guy, he was a great actor.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
I wish I could
can't remember his name.
I can't.
But he is great.
I can't remember his name. His name will appear here. But not only does he
make sure that when it appears here that, well, now it's after here, but make sure it lights up.
Oh, we'll get to that in good time. But besides the fact that he pulled off the role, the mafioso, besides the fact that he pulled out the role, he also had a lot of fun with it, too. Like, you thought this was going to be, like, a pretty, like, reserved, like, somebody just in it for the paycheck kind of performance. But no, like, after, like, the beginning, initial
He has one overacting moment, at least.
No, you can't. I don't think it was overacting. I think it was...
Well, I mean, I guess it's not overacting if it's appropriate for the movie.
Like, this was definitely... He's talking about this one particular line delivery where they finally got John Wick by the collar, and so he's having, like, this, talking at him moment. And it's right after John Wick has basically screwed over the Russian mafioso by destroying all the evidence of blackmail that they had over the city. So now they're basically crippled. And he basically says, "Do you understand what you have done? That was priceless! Priceless!" And he's undulating like he was a marionette.
Yeah.
And you look at that and you're thinking, if this were any other movie, that would be a laughable take. But here it feels right. Yeah. It's sort of like Nick Cage in Face Off.
Yeah, exactly. There were a few Face Off moments in this movie. That's exactly what I was thinking.
A few of those moments.
Why don't we just kill each other?
But like as the movie goes on, he kind of transforms into this, like, he kind of accepts his fate that I can't kill John Wick. So I'm just going to have some fun. I mean...
Oh, God. Him and the Allstate guy have a moment where he's got the gun. He's going to give him... He's like, here's the gun. You take the gun. He goes to grab it. He's like... Just completely out of nowhere.
Like, John Wick is literally chasing after them, and...
The guy loses it.
The guy's chasing after him, and he's trying to get a gun. Like, does anybody have a gun to shoot John Wick? And it turns out the mafioso has the gun, but he's just playing keep away. And he's laughing and drunk off his ass, like, I can't kill John Wick.
He knows he's gonna die, so he's good. His son's had been murdered at this point, so he's just lost it.
He's just lost it. He's just like, God, I've never seen a villain accept his fate in such a way over the build-up. I mean, I thought I reached the apex where it was what was it? Steven Seagal in Machete, where he basically killed himself. It's like, I just know that you're.
I haven't seen that, unfortunately. You ruined it for me, Seagal.
Sorry I ruined it for you, but Seagal, like, Machete stabs him in the gut with a machete, and he's just like, I tell you to go to hell, but you're just gonna meet me there. So he looks at the machete in his gut and just goes, this is nothing. And then he just kind of digs the machete around in his gut a little bit more. It basically kills himself. Yeah. For, like, no reason whatsoever. But I thought that was the baby. No, this is like almost like, if it weren't for the fact that this guy is too old to play the role, I would want him to play the Joker. This is almost like a Joker-like... This is almost like a Joker-like performance in this, like, playing games with his henchmen that are frantically trying to avoid John Wick.
Yeah.
This would like, if
John Wick rams them in their car chase. He rams them. He's like, "Oh, that was a good one. That was a good one, John. Good one, John."
Like, there's this exuberance and high energy, and even though there's like blood, and even though there's a lot of brutal moments, but there's not an ounce of sadness in this movie for whatever reason. It's just
Aside from the beginning.
it's no, not even in the beginning.
No, the part where he's, crying over his wife is a rather sad moment.
It's a sad moment, but it's an appropriate moment.
Well, I think it was heavier by the fact that it was Keanu Reeves pulling out acting.
It's like, I haven't seen Keanu Reeves
So
cry.
that was, yeah.
I wouldn't call that a sad moment.
I was like, if Keanu Reeves can feel sad in this scene, I can feel sad too.
Keanu Reeves sad.
Keanu Reeves, if he can do it, I can do it. I can do that.
So we have this like the launching point towards this trail of destruction that Keanu Reeves blazes for himself, and from there to the end of the movie, there's not a moment where the movie drags.
No.
It's just scene after scene of like him like building upon this like corpse pile, as it were.
Yes.
And every fight scene that happens is like you're just kind of in your seat squirming around because one, it's a kind of a grappling fight scene, a lot of like arm holds and choke holds.
Yeah, very well executed. There's a scene where he does a capoeira spin on the floor and trips the guy, and very cool.
Yeah, I mean, like, I guess like people were so tired of Black Widow doing that all the time, and so they just wanted John Wick to do it once on the ground.
Yes.
Kind of. You know what he did? He Voldoed. He Voldoed him.
Oh, he totally did.
Soul Calibur reference? Check. So we brought up Willem Dafoe. We brought up Willem Dafoe earlier, and I guess we should try to explain like his presence in the movie. Willem Dafoe is basically an old friend of John's.
Yeah.
I hate to keep using the like. I don't know Willem's character's name, so you know what? I'm just going to call him Keanu. You know, keep it simple.
Yeah.
And then, but the Russian mafioso basically tells him like, listen, if you kill Keanu, I'll give you $4 million. And so he accepts the contract. So you're thinking, okay, so there's going to be like either a confrontation or a betrayal, but you're never quite sure what side he's really on towards like the last half of the movie.
And no, they don't, use Willem Dafoe to his utmost ability or anything.
But it's like
he's Willem Dafoe, so he always.
Yeah, he's Willem Dafoe, and it's always great to see Willem Dafoe in a
it's
movie.
always-
It's always good. I mean,
He gets his moment of badassery.
he's got several moments of badassery, and there's never like I wish, like you said, I wish Willem Dafoe had a bigger part in this movie, but the few times they could use him, they used him effectively. They did not waste their Willem Dafoe. They may have had him for maybe only 4 days.
Yes.
But they used every bit of time they had with him, and but the thing about this movie that I think separates itself, besides the action,
Is the subtitles.
Yes, the subtitles. I thank you. I was going to have the subtle build up to it, but no. The subtitles in this movie may be the most fun subtitles I've ever seen ever, because for no discernible reason, they'll just accentuate a certain word in somebody's sentence, and they'll do it like comic book style, where it's like neon lettering and like highlights over the words. So all of a sudden, it's like blank blank the boogeyman in Russian.
Yeah.
But except
Still, sometimes they do it at like random though. Sometimes it'll be a random word in the subtitles, like that or him
or like wherever they want the emphasis to go on this.
Rutabaga.
Wherever they want the emphasis to go in the sentence, that's where they'll put that.
Yeah.
And when I first saw that, when I first saw that subtitle, and I saw it appear on the bottom of the screen, I thought it was like an advertisement.
Yeah, that's what I thought too, man.
I thought like, is there an advertisement in this movie? Like, no, wait, that's supposed to be a subtitle. Why the fuck is the boogeyman highlighted in orange? It's like,
but it looked exactly like an advertisement.
Because it faded in. It faded in. That's what it was. Like, the subtitle faded in. And what the subtitles will do is that they will change where the subtitle is in relation to the person who is speaking. Which I wish more films actually would do, or at least be mindful of.
It's funny because the title sequence, the opening credits were really unspectacular. The movie title coming in was just a small little thing over here, John Wick, and then the subtitles were just attention grabbing, like attention whoring.
And
Never seen anything like it.
No, I never. Neither have I. And it's still as funny as the first time you saw it as the last time you saw it.
Yeah.
It was just this never-ending game of like, see how ridiculous we can be. Ha 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 ha. Oh God.
This movie was...
This movie has no end to its fun.
Yeah.
I mean, like when I describe to you like the initial set of the plot, then you know what's going to happen. But like there's not a single twist that really happens.
Yeah.
There's not like any kind of revelation of what happened. It's just you could see it happen. Like you can almost see it happening, but you're just there for the ride. And credit to the actors. Credit to everyone in this movie really pulled.
Yeah.
There was not a single weak performance in this movie. And really credit to the direction and choreography. Really, just about every single aspect of this movie was just about as perfectly well done as you can reasonably expect from a movie like this.
I also felt that the woman in the movie, the woman in the movie could have had more to do. She was pretty fun, just like everybody else was. She was fun.
She was fun, but I like
super hot. Very, very fun. Very cool. I don't know about stunts or whatever. I don't know about anybody in this movie as far as stunts, but there was some good stuff between Keanu and her.
I was surprised, like how like I felt like sometimes they pulled their punches on her.
They snuffed her out of this film.
Yeah, like there's only a few points in this movie where I'm not jiving with, and her character was definitely one of them. Like if she like popped into the movie basically being the one assassin in this hotel of assassins that is willing to break the rules of the hotel and assassinate another assassin, then that would have been great. But what happened is like they get into a fight, and you're kind of jiving with the fact that like, hey, it's Keanu Reeves really hurting a woman. Mm-hmm. I mean, like there's a scene where he wraps her in a bed sheet and then like punches her right in the fucking face, and it was like, well, on one hand, like they're not really showing her getting punched because like bed sheet and everything, but on the other hand, that's a legit tactic.
Yeah, I could have done with way more barbarism in that scene. And
like we were discussing this on the way to dinner, and we were discussing whether the fact that it feels like this role had to be at once pumped up but castrated, because one, otherwise this movie is just filled with dudes, and that doesn't fly. But on the other hand, you can't really have this character really die at the hands of Keanu because, people don't want to see like a man really, really hurt a woman.
And that's the problem.
So
we need more of that. It's not something that you want to say usually. We need to see more women getting hurt, but we do. We need to see more women getting hurt in movies.
Well, let's
context.
Let's put some context to it. If there's going to be a villainess,
I don't feel like I need to explain myself. I just think it's so obvious. I shouldn't even have to. But for anybody who's wondering, no, it's not because I enjoy seeing women get hurt. It's because it needs to be equal opportunity to get hurt.
Like if there's a villainess, there has to be like no cutaway to getting punched. It's still like, hey, she's out to kill this guy, and he's defending himself as he is wont to do. And if that means he's going to have to put her in the if he's going to put her on the Randy Orton, chokehold, then that's what's going to happen. Lex Luger torture rack right over the shoulders.
Absolutely.
Break her spine, make her humble.
Oh yeah, just bite one of her tits off, whatever.
I don't think that's going to fly.
We don't want to see Keanu Reeves biting a woman's tit off.
No, it's not after the last time that happened.
Oh. Yeah.
But, tombstone pile driver right through the fucking concrete. Yeah, like, I agree that if you're going to have a villainess in your movie, you can't really downplay her menace or downplay her prowess in the movie by basically treating her like a girl. You got to treat her like someone who
is... In a movie like this where everybody gets it bad, the villainess gets it bad too. Especially when someone as bad as her.
Yeah, exactly. Well, so what happens is, like, he knocks her out, then gets another one of the hotel people to basically tie her up and then dump her off.
And that's really that's really the only place in this movie where it falls short. Is her.
It's like you could see like the screenplay coming apart at the seams with that character, and so basically, but she escapes his binding, and then for no reason whatsoever, goes back to the Russian mafioso and then doesn't even kill Willem Dafoe. She just kind of wounds Willem Dafoe. And after the mafioso discovers that Willem Dafoe,
she's not even very effective.
No, not really.
I mean, she has a grit to her, but she doesn't really get anything done.
No, I mean, you expect her to not get things done when it comes to John Wick, because John Wick has to win.
Nobody gets anything done with John Wick. I mean, you can scratch him, but you can hurt him, but
you can't kill him.
Can't kill John Wick.
You can't cripple him, certainly.
You can't slow him down.
You can slow him down, but you can't cripple him.
I don't know. I think that I think it was more of a service to the person, to the person with the name I can't remember the name of. But when he gets captured, I always imagine he had some kind of way out of that. Like she certainly did. The villainess popped her. Just pops her thumb to get out of the handcuffs. But...
Yeah, basically double jointed, and which is cool. Which is at least it's not like poof, the handcuffs turn into ribbons.
It wasn't like my handcuffs hurt. Could you loosen them up? She didn't seduce the guy to get out of there. She rubbed him. She fucked him up.
Although, how funny would it have been if she was, I can break these cuffs. You can't break those cuffs.
Would have. Oh God. This would be like my favorite movie.
But
breaks the cuffs, flips out the door.
So she's with the mafioso, wounds Willem Dafoe, and then only to have the mafioso cap Willem Dafoe in the head. After it's revealed that Willem Dafoe didn't really take the contract after all, and he's on Keanu's side.
No, after
after all that is revealed. So, but then she gets a random call from the hotel staff saying
"I'm sorry." He did take the contract though.
He did.
That's why he got.
He took the contract.
So
he took the contract, but then he didn't do it, and it actually helped Keanu. So, but then she kind of is ejected from the movie. You could literally see the screenplay writer literally write the words "eject character."
Oh, I just know that he put in there gets her. She gets tossed around by her. He pulls her hair out and stuff, and just completely kicks the crap out of her. And then he's like, backspace. Hey. Does a snap mirror on her, and then he knocks her out and gives him to the guy to look after her. Sure.
Yeah, and then she's removed from the movie by the fact that the hotel staff called her, and then the hotel manager, just appears to her in the middle of nowhere. It just looks like in the middle of fucking nowhere, and all of a sudden he has her put to death on the most unceremonious, completely out of left field. Does not flow with the movie at all. Yeah. That is that's the Achilles heel of this movie. That plot line. If she had been brutally killed by John Wick after her initial assassination attempt, that would have been the best way that movie could have gone. But they had to weaken it. I would love to see a director's cut of this movie. Maybe he really did really fucked her up. Maybe, she planted her head right through the concrete, then just headbutted her crotch right down like a tent peg. How much would you pay to see fucking Keanu Reeves headbutt a woman in the gooch over?
It's so hard to imagine that it actually comes out in cartoon form in my mind. I can only imagine that being drawn. You guys.
Any of you talented artists out there, I expect to see a drawing of Keanu Reeves headbutting a woman in the gooch into the concrete. Make that reality, internet. Make that a reality. But again,
add a little punchline to it.
There's no punchline to Keanu Reeves headbutting a woman in the gooch. That's just Keanu Reeves headbutting a woman in the gooch.
Oh man. But that was I'm trying to I don't know what's worse, is not having a woman in this film or having her in this film and not going full out.
Yeah. They tried to have it both ways and they wound up failing in both regards. On one hand, I honestly think it's worse.
Yeah.
I think it's worse that if there was no female character at all, because that actress got work. and she was still good in this movie. And if somebody had the brains and the balls in Hollywood to see her in this movie, it's well, she needs to be in this movie too. So
by all means. I mean, I'm speaking for the movie itself.
For the sake of the movie, right.
I'm not saying I don't think a woman should get work.
No.
Come on.
No. But right, removing the human element and looking at the movie as just an art unto itself.
Yeah.
No, I still don't agree with that because I would want there to be at least a female assassin. I would want there to be one.
Absolutely.
So no,
It just
I think
sucks they had to be we need to have a woman in this film, so put a woman in this film. Kid glove it.
No, that's.
But I would have been happy to see her in the sequel, but
No.
that's not going to happen. Actually, it very well may happen. Maybe she didn't actually die. They had 5 guys shoot her in the head. They had a firing squad surrounding her.
Which could go so bad, so fast. It's shoot! Oh my god! I didn't mean to shoot you. I meant to shoot her.
Oh yeah, just duck. Pull a duck.
So they have to duck, point up, so that way. Like I said, that could go so wrong so fast. That setup.
It was ridiculous the way they just completely closed her character out of that movie.
Like I said, you can see the movie rip apart at the seams when her character comes on board.
Yeah.
But other than that, I can't think of anything this movie does wrong. I mean, yeah, sure, there's plot weirdness everywhere. There are some real contrived scenes here and there, but you don't care. This is such a fun movie that you don't care. I mean, even the ending, which is one of the most ridiculous endings I've seen in a major Hollywood film in a long time, where it's Keanu Reeves recovering from his battle with the Russian mafioso. And it's the beginning of the film. The scene bookends the film. It starts at the beginning where Keanu Reeves is just limping along and then watching a video clip of him and his wife on his phone to remind himself. And then it looks like he's dead. It looks like he's dead. So now you got it in your head. Okay, so what we're going to see is what happened before then. And we do find out. But then it cuts back to, at the last scene, it cuts back to Keanu, waking up from in the rain with the phone still playing. And he gathers himself up, and apparently he drove himself to this weird animal hospital that just seems to be out of nowhere. And then he just stitches himself up using veterinary tools, which you're thinking, okay, that's all right. At least that explains that. But then all of a sudden he sees another dog. I mean, in a room filled with dogs, he hones in on a little like a teenage,
it's a little bulldog.
A little bulldog takes him from the shelter and says, "Let's go home."
It was almost like the way they played it. It wasn't like he was looking for a vet. Yeah, he wasn't looking for a shelter. He just happened by a veterinarian's office and
out in the middle of the wharf, the New York wharf,
and was fixing himself up, and he was like, "Oh, dogs."
Oh, we're in the middle of dogs. Okay,
yeah.
You got to imagine any other dog in that room is just looking at Keanu with those big old pound puppy eyes.
Why they were like, "Woof, woof, woof." Subtitles. It's John Wick.
It's pick me, John Wick, pick me. It's no, he picks the little bulldog.
Just whatever you do, don't poop on his carpet.
No, you gotta put those fresh crap biscuits on the lawn. They have to be pristine though, or else you're not worthy of John Wick. But that ending was so fucking weird.
Yeah, they just walk off into the not sunset.
The sunrise. The sunrise. They walk off into the sunrise.
I said the not sunset.
You said the... what's that thing that happens every day at the morning, but it's the opposite of a sunset? What do you call it?
No, it was raining. It was night.
It was just out of the night into the morning, so it was a sunrise. So they walked off into the sunrise.
Whatever.
Still doesn't stop that ending from being really out of the blue crazy. But again, I think I like that ending just because in a movie this so madcap, fun, and so, but still somehow well made and well acted, that you, like, you know what? I'll jive with that ending.
Yeah.
Yeah, he should get another. He should get another bulldog. Although to me, that ending screams like there was another ending that was at least written but never filmed, where John Wick actually dies there.
Yeah. But they.
Like, again, wait for the director's cut.
But yeah, so sequel, sure.
Like, I would want to see a sequel of John Wick. I'm not sure what he'll do. Like, he gets a parakeet, but then all of a sudden the Brazilian mafia kills his parakeet, and now he's going to kill them for.
I think that it's inevitable. He starts a pet store at some point.
And then the Irish mafioso throws a brick and kills a mouse, and all of a sudden all of Ireland is going to go down. Those Micks are going to get it now.
You know why there's no snakes in Ireland?
Because John Wick adopted them all. John Wick, animal rescuer.
John Wick, pet detective.
It's been a long time since I've given a wholesale recommendation for a movie, so
Yeah.
and
Two thumbs up from both of us.
God damn, this was the biggest and best received surprise of all year.
Yeah.
Like even the Lego movie, you were surprised by the Lego.
I was surprised by the Lego movie, but nothing as surprised as this movie made me. I was
like nothing the surprise this movie was.
Yeah.
See John Wick. It is. This is the most fun in the theaters you'll have all year.
Yeah.
Even with Guardians of the Galaxy. Come on.
I like Guardians. I wasn't surprised by Guardians, that's for sure. We went over this already.
Yeah,
But I'm not going to say Guardians was not as good as this.
What am I going to do with you?
I like Guardians.
All right. Till next time.